Hey, I'm T.A. Charlie, and welcome to the Road to Concord with Professor Joe Bakanovic. Homeroom is on Rumble. You just go to Rumble and search the channels for the Road to Concord. It's one word. When you find it, you go ahead and you click follow. It might mean you got to set up an account, but it's fast, it's easy, it's free. I did it, you can do it. For those technologically challenged members of the class, you can also catch us on Facebook and YouTube. After the show, it's uploaded to Podbean, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and BitChute. Just look for The Road to Concord. You can go to the blog page, that's theroadtoconcord.com. That's where you'll find all your show notes, study notes, and handouts for the class. The phone is working. If you don't know how to call in, email us and we'll think about it. Finally, you can email a professor at joe@theroadtoconcord.com. He's a little slow, but he'll eventually get around to emailing you back. This show is currently mainly listener-sponsored. If you are interested in advertising your business on the show, please email us. With that said, we ask for your participation on a value-for-value basis. If you find our show of value to you, then you provide an equivalent portion of your labor and treasure through the donate link on the Road to Concord blog page, the show description on Rumble, and in the comments on the other streams. And thank you to all of you who have and will support this show.
Good morning. Welcome to the Road to Concord. Today is Monday, April 4th, 2026. I'm your host, Joe Bakanovic. And as I have posted in the comment section, if you have ideas, questions, thoughts, whatever, post them. Call in with them. This is one of those days where I ain't got nothing. I want to talk about something that's not doom and gloom all the time. So, let's talk about conspiracy theories, Bigfoot, anything but the reality that shapes our world at the moment. Now, if I have to go there, I can. But I was telling Charlie, the only other thing I got on the plate today is another one of those Debbie Downer, the sky is falling type of things. But I've been wargaming all weekend, and I would much prefer that we find something. I found something on YouTube. Let me share this with you. This is the type of mood I'm in. Excuse me. I was watching these so-and-so reacts, and I found some Canadians. There's several of them who've reacted to this. Apparently, there was a hockey game here recently, and with the Buffalo Sabres against, I think it might have been the Boston Bruins, and it was played in Buffalo. And this is really close to Toronto. So they have a tradition of playing both the American national anthem and followed by the Canadian national anthem. Well, apparently there was a technical problem why the young lady was singing the Canadian national anthem, and the American citizens helped her out and started singing the Canadian national anthem. What's more, they sang it with the original words, not the Canadian politically correct, altered, text that they've changed. The Americans sang it, excuse me, correctly. And it has shocked several Canadians who are still, I guess, decent people. And they've done their little, so-and-so reacts. They've got their YouTube following. One guy had over 77,000 people who had watched his video, and another guy had more than that. But they were like, we Canadians boo the American national anthem. And here's this greater country that's, technically better off than Canada. We're still more powerful than they are, more successful, more prosperous. And here we are responding by, when there's a technical problem, we sing their anthem for them in our country. And it, whether they're doing this for clickbait or not, I don't know. One guy, I'm pretty convinced he was doing it sincerely, because he kept saying, my read on him was that he was sincere. He was amazed by Americans and how good of a people we are when we're left to be Americans. And I just got to thinking, man, I wish we could be those people again. Who we were on 9/12. And we quickly forgot that. who my county was on October 18th, 2017, or 2018, the day after Michael hit, Hurricane Michael. Why is it that we need some sort of horrific event to remind us of our humanity? And then why is it once we remember it or we see it in ourselves, we so quickly forget? I did something over the weekend that I've gotten tired of Joe. And I'm filling in here waiting for y'all to post something that's worth talking about. So if y'all don't have anything, I'm going to quickly run out of anything to run my mouth about. Deltros, you heard Howard Stern is demanding Trump supporters not be allowed to listen to his show. Well, we ought to give him what he wants, not listen to his show. Because that Deltros, that's actually where I was about to go. Over the weekend, I did something I haven't done in a while. I essentially turned off Facebook. Essentially. I took my computer, my phone, and where I got my little favorites things, I moved it so it's not on the home screen. So it's not as easy to get to. I have to work to get to it now. So essentially, all I've done on Facebook is respond to what other people have done. And I realized most of what I've done over the weekend is business related to my business. And I actually felt a little better about things. And I stayed off the news networks. And I realized that, I've shared this story with you before. There were some sociologists who recently, in the last few years, took a whole bunch of people from all different walks of society. I think this was up in Wisconsin or Minnesota somewhere. They took them camping for 2 weeks, basically. And they told them no outside contact, no social media, no phones. So these people all had to just hang out together. And after 2 weeks, the people were happier. They'd quit fighting. They'd had sense of community again. And when they were told they could have their phones back, they didn't want them. Now, I don't know how long that lasted, because as humans, we have this perverse desire to watch the train wreck and just sit there and film the person being beat down and stomped on and murdered right in front of our eyes. Instead of putting the phone down and jumping into help, we'll film it, put it up online, talk about how horrible it is, and then crow about all the clicks we're getting. I don't understand the human condition. I don't. We crow about, we brag about all of our reality. Yeah, I mean, reason rather. What good is reason, human reason, if it doesn't actually lead to anything? I know very few people who actually adjust the way they live based on their reasoning. There's one of them listening to us today that I know for sure he does it. I just saw him comment. It's why he's one of my heroes, my personal heroes. In when I'm having a quiet moment where I quit navel gazing and wondering about Joe, I realize that I've got a perfect human example in my life, and I'm proud to call him friend. And he leads by example. He reasons through things, and then he tries to change his life accordingly. Why can't we do that? Why don't we do that? What good is our reason if it doesn't actually change things in our lives? There was, and you know this show by now, I'm liable to throw you in the pew at any moment. Well, sit down in your pew for just a second. It won't take long. There's a passage in the Bible where the Messiah is talking about going through the narrow gate and the narrow road. And I got to looking at the Greek because I saw something online. I was like, well, that makes sense, but let me go check. And I looked at the Greek behind our English translations. And the Greek for narrow is closer to meaning squeezed or pressed in on, like a potter squeezes the clay to shape the pot. And the idea that's actually trying to be conveyed is you've got to let the biblical philosophy squeeze the world out of you and learn to live the way the transcendent lifestyle that the scriptures are trying to teach you to live. So that's a Hebraic philosophical argument. And I'm studying about Hebrew philosophy right now, and it's very different from the Greek, but it's there. And I'm studying the Hebrew epistemology, which that's another word for my friend there on the show today. How do you know something? The Hebrew idea of knowing. What is it to know something in the Hebrew mindset? And I'm starting to realize that the entire Bible is the Creator's argument for us to use our reason to change the way we live, to say, okay, do I want it this way or that way? Which one do I choose? And if I choose one way or the other, it affects how I'm supposed to live. And the Bible is constantly telling you, choose life or death. I put before you life and death. Choose one or the other. Well, if you choose life, you have to change the way you live. We can't live so worldly like an animal by instinct and seeking pleasures. We have to live a rationed, reasoned life. Joe, the Bible teaches faith. Yeah, I know. When you understand the Hebrew meaning of faith, I'm right on target right now. And this is a biblically based, but it's still a philosophical logic reasoning discussion at the moment that you're in. And I realize that except for the guy who's writing the book I'm reading right now, I've never heard any theologian discuss this way. But I've tried to explain it to you. I've been aware of it. I've seen it. I know it. I just never sat down to try and put it in a formal format or framework. This guy's doing it. And what it all comes down to is the Bible constantly says, hey, use your reason to raise your behavior. Pursue the moral and virtuous life. Now, what's different is the Bible tells you what it considers to be the moral and virtuous life. Now, that's where we kick at the boards. We want to be our own gods. We want to define what is the moral and virtuous life for ourselves. But even then, when we do that, we don't live by it. It's that's what I think the Bible means by sin is hardwired into us as creatures. We can't even conform to what we decide for our own selves is right and wrong. So it gets me to wondering, why do we think that we can force right and wrong on other people when, geez, God, man, where's the kumbaya? Can't we all get along? Especially from the people preach it. The ones who preach it the most are the worst about trying to force their will on others. I don't know, man. It's one of these cycles in my life where I'm just in awe of the stupidity of man. And I mean stupidity. It's not that you don't have intelligence. I'm not talking technically stupid. Stupid is it's a different word from being mentally incapable of doing certain things. You've got moron and certain other words that actually have a technical meaning, or did at one time. Moron, I think, was an IQ of somewhere between 60 and 80. And it's come to have a pejorative meaning in our lives because of that. Just like handicap used to have a pejorative, or has come to be a pejorative, but it just meant that you had a disability. Well, we changed it to disability. And now, because disability acquired the negative connotation, now it's other abled or whatever. Folks, it doesn't matter what word you apply to it. It's going to carry the connotation, the idea, the thought, the feeling. Stupid applies to anybody, including myself, especially me. Einstein was stupid. Brilliant as he was, there was at least one time I know about that he walked out of the house without his pants on. All he had on was his boxer shorts. He forgot to get dressed. The world would call that stupid. Or we might say lacking common sense, or living with his head in the air. We all do these things. So why is it so hard for us to use our reason in a way that actually benefits us? And I've thought about that, and I think I understand it. It comes down to we don't want to. Uh, well, why don't we want to? That's a question I can't. I can't. I've wrestled with that for a long time. Why don't we want to? If reason and science and all this other good stuff has killed God, well, we've done a really bad job of replacing him. Yes, sir.
Yeah. How about that Kentucky Derby win this weekend?
Change the subject. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's answering your question, really. Because we're so caught up in our cake and circuses, as Aaron likes to call it. We don't focus on these things that are most important in life. We're dealing with just the daily things of life, and we're
stop. I disagree.
You do.
I think we focus exactly on what is most important to us in our lives.
Well,
where the heart is, there's everything else too.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. Yeah. But I mean that's the thing, is we focus on things that give us pleasure or whatever, or distraction, and then we got a few comments going on here.
I've got to hold on. Go ahead. Which one?
Well, we'll put that one up there first.
He's not. I want to go with this one. The Sailor's Son said, I did that at midnight last night trying to figure out why the toilet was stopped up. Hey, man, I'll do you one better. Why's the rum gone? Johnny Depp's most profound philosophical statement is, why is the rum gone? Why is the rum gone?
Why is the rum gone?
But this is the point. If reason is our God in our modern day and age, if that's become our God, why are we still so enamored with things that reason dictates shouldn't be all that important in the grand scheme of our world?
Yeah.
Or is it a case of we don't know how to
hear?
Golden Temple went from last to first. Yeah. Secretariat in the Belmont Stakes.
Yeah.
I actually watched the actual video of Secretariat over the weekend. That horse set records that have never been beaten.
Yeah.
And if you've ever watched that race, he just let everybody get out in front of him and then said, okay, we're around the first two turns. Everybody thinks I'm whipped. Well, now let me show you something. And he told the jockey, hold my beer, hold on tight. I'm going to run this race all by myself. And when you listen to the jockey interview, he said that's exactly what happened. That horse took off all on his own. So he had to just hold on tight. So, but now if I stop and look at that, that's a marvel of Yahweh's creation. That the horse farm where Secretariat came from is still in existence, still in the same family. And in that show that I was watching, they did an interview with a trainer who knew Secretariat. He was there when Secretariat died. The average horse's heart weighs between 6 and 8 pounds. Secretariat's weighed 22.
Wow.
That's why that horse could run the way he did.
Yeah.
He was made for that.
Right. Wow.
And that's why that horse didn't matter. Most horses would have killed themselves running as hard as he did.
Right.
Because their heart would give out.
Yeah.
Well, his heart would be no problem. Oh, I can keep up with this. So the limiting factor to Secretariat was how fast could he move his legs.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how long. That's why he did something no other horse in the history of racing has ever done. On the Belmont, he accelerated. They've timed him. He was constantly accelerating all the way to the end of the race. He didn't slow down, not one stride. It was constant slow acceleration. No other horse in history has ever done that. So I want to stop back and look and marvel at that. Why would Yahweh do something like that? And, Yahweh, the creator of the universe, maybe it was meant not to marvel at the horse, but to marvel at some of what the people went through to get him there. Have you ever read into the story of everything in the human world that was involved in getting there? It's a good story. And stories connect us. They teach. And that's what I'm learning about the Bible is the Hebraic way of doing philosophy. One of the main, not all, but one of the main ways to do it is through stories. And the stories are meant to teach you lessons and to get you thinking, like Aesop's fables. Aesop's fables are philosophy.
Yeah. About
moral questions. They are philosophy. Well, the Bible does that too. If we're so intellectually advanced over our forefathers, show me a sign of that in this world.
Right. Yeah.
In the founding times, if I'd have gone to a pub, they'd have been talking about things like the Constitution and what is right and wrong and the principles in the Declaration. They'd have been talking theology. If I go to the pub today, what are they talking about?
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, and look who won the race yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not going to find those conversations anymore. And if I go to a university looking for them,
oh gosh,
what I'm going to get is third wave feminism on the philosophy of how to change the world through essential oils and fingernail polish. No, you won't, Joe. You want to bet I can't find a class on that in this university system?
Oh yeah. They literally have basket weaving classes now.
We have devolved, and we think because the technology has evolved that we have evolved. No. And that's the whole point of Idiocracy was the movie. As the technology evolved, the people got stupider.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
why? Why is it that way? I don't care about you in this matter, and none of y'all out there. You have to live you. You do you. I'll do me. And I sit here thinking, and I've spent a good part of the weekend doing this. Why do I do this? What the heck is wrong with me? And it's a question I've been asking all weekend. I don't have an answer yet. Now, I don't know that I'm going to find an answer other than I'm depraved or am being handed over to my depravity, which I want to stop and reverse if I can. Deltaro says, have you seen the red button, blue button question floating around on the net? No, fill me in, because I didn't do a whole lot of internet this weekend. I told you that, and I meant it. I didn't lie. You'll see that I did a few things on Facebook, but for the most part, it was only when I was answering questions on my company's Facebook page. I wasn't very active on Facebook this weekend.
I wonder if that's kind of like red pill, blue pill kind of thing. I don't know. I haven't seen it either. So
to the extent that I did, I posted a few military memes. So, I mean, and to be honest with you right now, one of the things I did post is, things could be worse. You could be putting up a cami net right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure I wouldn't rather be putting up a camo net right now. And if you've never put one up with the little, the 3-leaf long thingy, if you've ever done it, you understand when I say the struggle is real.
Yes, it is.
So, and you know what? I think I might rather do that than wrestle with this world right now.
Oh yeah. If it's camel netting or the world, I'll take camel netting. As much as I hate that stuff.
And I'm afraid it's an analogy that if you've never done it, you don't understand. But you know what? It's kind of like trying to nail spaghetti to the wall.
Yeah, but there is actually a lot of technique to that and a lot of
I know
creative design and things like that to do it right.
You're talking to somebody who used to have to drop it and move and put it back up 3, 4, 5 times a day. Every time you moved the tanks, you had to put the camo netting back up.
Yeah.
And you moved a lot so that nobody figured out where you were.
In the middle of the desert, though, does that really work that well in the middle of the desert?
In the air, yes, really? It does. It does, because it hides the shadow.
Well, yeah, I guess it would hide the shadow, but
there's a very famous picture that came from that area of the world. It's a bunch of camels and the picture was taken directly over the camels, just slight angle, and you see all of these black camels on the ground and these little white whitish lines at the bottom of the camel's feet until you realize that the white line is the actual camel. And it was taken at such a time of day that the shadows were real long. Well, what the camo netting does is it disrupts the infrared signature and it disrupts the shadows. So in the desert, there's no shadow from a camo net. Not if it's done right.
Right.
Because of the way it undulates. It makes it look like a hill. And that is what the whole purpose is it doesn't catch a pilot's eye. Where if you don't do it right, the shadow is what catches their eye.
What is this one here?
Okay, Deltro says the question is you have to take a secret vote. If you press the red button, you are guaranteed to live. If you press the blue button, you might live, but only 50% of the people press the blue button. Huh? What is WHID?
Let's see. Let me see if. Yeah, I guess it cut off his comment because I guess there's a limit on Rumble, so maybe he'll come around with the rest of it here or something. That's interesting.
Why would anybody press the blue button?
But well, it does show our society. You know, there's a lot of
there's got to be more to this.
There,
he missed something. There's got to be more to this. It doesn't. I don't keep typing, Deltros.
Yeah.
Put the rest back up there. Sailor Son is feeling our pain. He says aggravation is an understatement with putting up camo netting.
Right. Yes.
So, folks, if you've never done it, it's like a net, okay, with fairly big squares with this fabric weaved in it, and it grabs everything. Everything.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh,
if you've got a buckle or a button or anything on your, it'll grab it.
Yeah.
And you've got this 3-petaled lollipop. It's various lengths of tubing, and you got this thing on the end. It's about that long, about 3 foot, 4 foot, and with a little circle on the end. And you spread it out. You can adjust it whichever way you want, and you put it on the end of the tubing, and you stake down the net, and then you push these things up in the air to get the net up out of the way so that you can walk underneath it. And what invariably happens is as you push, the stakes come up, and as soon as the stakes come up, everything comes down on top of you, and then it grabs everything in the world. And man, if you're putting one of those up over the top of a tank, you learn to put up the net, drive the tank under it when you're done.
Oh,
but sometimes
that would be a better idea, wouldn't it? Yes.
Yes. How do you think we figured this one out?
Oh, yeah.
The first time you try to put the net up over top of the tank from under, why the tank? No. The knives come out and start cutting the net away from.
Yeah, because that's about all you can do at that point. Yeah.
Like I say, if you press red, you live. If you press blue, only live 50% of the people in the world press the blue. Oh, so in other words, the Darwinian Awards.
Yeah. People.
Good God, why would they do that? There's not even
There's a lot of people out there that are the Walking Dead that really don't want to be here, and they're just existing.
That passage in 2 Peter.
I see people there. Yeah,
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That passage in 2 Peter has been ringing loud to me lately, and I wonder if I'm one of the people he's talking about. Yeah, Mr. Quest, that's right.
Yeah, that one too.
The camo netting also has to be untangled because of the way the last person did it. Why would you press blue, Deltros? I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And apparently that makes me a false teacher because I'm willing to say I don't know. Charlie, we got like 3 minutes to fill before the bottom of the hour break. Come on,
I know. I told people earlier, I said, this might be a short show unless you guys come up with something. I even said, heck, I'll even let a snake on today.
I'm in the mood to pull the wings off the fly.
Oh! You would have fun with a snake today. I mean, I would just let that go. I mean, it's just for entertainment value.
Yeah, but you see, you're cheating. You were in on the pre-show. You understand the mood I'm really in. That I haven't I haven't.
I know.
I'm doing a good job of hiding it from y'all today.
You are.
But
Yeah.
I'm in one of those moods where I understand my drill instructor when he stopped and asked Hohenstein if his parents had any children that lived. Blue
Right.
gives them permission to be their own god. Is that actually part of the thing? Because
maybe
that might be what they're thinking. Or it could be that they just don't read it.
That's true too.
I'm finding out that that's been one of my problems my whole life. Well, until just recently. And it's still a problem, but nowhere near as bad as it used to be. I used to listen to people, not to understand, but just to find something I could jump back on them and defeat them with. That wasn't doing anybody any good, not even myself. I don't know why I did that. Because I was I'm not allowed to say those words on my own show. Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll take the bottom of the hour break, Charlie. When we come back, I want you to tell everybody what you heard with your synthetic oil brief.
Okay, yeah.
And we will do the last half hour of the show where I get to scare everybody to death.
All right.
Because if that's all I got left,
yeah,
let me scare everyone to death.
Yeah, might as well.
So for those of you who don't like horror shows, class dismissed. And for those of you who like horror shows, very possible real ones, we'll see you in 3 minutes. Until then. Okay, before we go anywhere, I found it.
Oh,
Here it be. Let me put the link in the show here. And I knew there had to be more to this. Moral of the story is don't trust Deltros to convey the message. So the idea is this. You got a choice, red button, blue button. If everyone in the world has to make this choice, if more than 50% of the people press the blue button, everyone survives. If less than 50% of the people press the blue button, only people who press the red button survive. Which button would you push? Don't ask me that question. You don't want to know the answer. Because it's probably not the answer that you're going to give.
I know the answer I would give, and yeah, people would probably not be happy with me.
Red, 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 red,
red, red, red, red, red, red, red, red, red. Sorry. If you're not smart enough to press the red button.
No. Oh, I bet you I'm pressing it for a different reason than you are, Charlie.
Perhaps, but.
Because after I press the red button, the only people left in the world are going to be selfish people. Now I can Thanos snap the whole damn world out of existence. The blue ones, God's going to take care of them. Because they put others before themselves.
Yeah, I suppose
I found all the selfish SOBs, myself included.
No, me too.
But I did it for a reason. I want to make sure I get the right ones. See, like I said, you may not like my answer.
Yeah.
And I just proved again, I think differently than most of y'all do.
Yeah.
I see it as a self-selecting trap. So, okay. Yeah. Go ahead and tell everybody what you told me today.
Okay. Well, let me set this up first for those of you that don't know. You might have seen Forever Lube advertised on this show. Shameless plug here, but I am a synthetic lubricants wholesaler. Okay. So I sell synthetic lubricants, and AMSOIL is my corporate distributor. And I work directly under a direct jobber. So in the industry, that's somebody that's, really got his stuff together. He knows what he's doing. And he sent me a little video over the weekend that AMSOIL corporate had put out. And I think the real reason they put this out was to stop something similar to what happened with the toilet paper crisis and COVID. They were trying to get distributors not to panic and panic buy and cause problems through the supply chain. Because what's going on, they have recently done some temporary price adjustments because of the increasing price of the base oils that they use for creating synthetic oil because of the disruptions in the market. But they went in to explain some of the details of what's going on in the Mideast. One of the biggest problems is, and I believe it was Qatar, Shell had a GPL plant that was severely damaged by missile strikes from Iran. And this was basically Shell's single and it was the biggest GPL supplier out there. And so it's totally out of operation right now. I believe there was another one they mentioned in Bahrain. It was a smaller one that was also impacted by some attacks or something and is either out of operation or limited in operation. And they were talking about how these things will, filter through the industry and a lot of smaller synthetic producers and plastic distributors, because some of these plastics use these petroleum products as well. It's going to affect their supply chains and maybe even put them out of business, because if they don't have established long-term contracts in place to provide these, lubricants, these base oils, they're going to have problems even getting them. Now, AMSOIL, they were saying they're in good position right now for the short term at least, but what they were explaining is how this is going to affect us in the long term. And they were showing that if this conflict continues, even for the next 30 or 45 days or so, we still won't be back to what would be normal until the fall. 6 to 8 months is what they're predicting, just to get back to what would be normal. They're saying if it continues past that time for like 6 or 8 months more, it's going to take at least a year to be there. And if it goes longer than that, you're looking at year to 2 years before we will get back to normal. And what's going on is a lot of the stores, of course, because the supply chain is disrupted, any tanks that have, oil in them right now are being depleted as, they're filling orders and things like that, but they're not being replenished and such as they're going. So this could affect a lot of things, trickle down into other areas of society too, because it not only affects, my industry, the synthetic oil industry, but like I said, the plastics industry. It will eventually come into, diesel oils and eventually even into gasoline and things like that. So, and there are some efforts in the United States. There is a GPL factory that is in the works right now. It's being built that will help a little bit in the United States, but that's still months or however long away before they actually get that up and operating. So long term, yeah, things are going to be a little tenuous for quite a while in the industry, at least.
Okay. I'm going to war game with you just a little bit, folks. The first thing I have a question about is, how did Iran manage to hit these plants? Well, they use missiles, Joe. Yes, exactly. How did that happen? Militarily, I want to know how that happened. Why did the military allow it? Now, why do I say allow it? First of all, you should have had at least 2 or 3 Arleigh Burke class destroyers in the Gulf between these targets and the Iranians. For those of you who do not know what that destroyer does, you have 2 of them with every carrier battle group. And they're usually like one to the northwest or one to the southeast or whatever, like opposite points of the square. These things, when they were first made, and I'm sure they've been upgraded, but when they were first made, they could track and target up to 200 targets at a time, incoming missiles. They were meant to take down incoming missiles, both ballistic trajectory and hypersonic sea skimming missiles. They're totally autonomous. You put them into autonomous mode, they start spitting out anti-aircraft missiles as fast as the rails can spit them out until all 67 in the magazine are gone. And that thing, I don't know why they weren't there. Now, it could be you're saying, well, I'm afraid of the Iranians taking out a very expensive ship. That's what air cover is for. All right. And then why wasn't there a point defense system around the most important targets? Like this bad boy. This is an air defense, they're wanting to sell this to the Ukrainians, but this is a mobile Patriot battery. And it's essentially what the Iron Dome is in Israel is made of or consists of, only they got a lot more missiles in their launchers. But this will do the job. And usually you have somewhere between 3 and 6 of these things in a battery. And they'll do a very good job of stopping incoming missiles. And then this truck itself, right here, this little unit right here where my cursor is, you also have this truck that carries a point defense system here, 20 millimeter Gatling cannon. The Navy calls them R2D2 units. And usually you put them in conjunction with the Patriot battery. So if it gets by the ships and then it gets by these things here, the Patriot, then the R2D2s take it down. It's a layered air defense system. If Trump was going to get serious about attacking Iran and protecting our allies at the same time, this should have all been deployed before he started splitting skulls. And the people in question here, the oil producing Arab countries, they got the money to pay for these things. So they should have had them too. So the military man in me wants to know where was the actual planning for all of this? And now what you have is the Iranians saying, you're not going to get through the Straits of Hormuz unless we let you. You have to pay us a tribute. Now, Trump is right now saying the United States Navy is going to escort all the ships through the straits. I don't understand why this is. I forgot to drop this down. My bad. I don't understand why we're doing things the way we're doing them. It's not militarily, it's not making a lot of sense. The Iranians cannot project power across the entire Persian Gulf. They don't have that ability. So what makes the most sense is for them to project their power in the tightest choke point. Well, folks, that's a target tailor-made for the modern U.S. military. If you're going to put all your little ships and all your little drones and all your little aerial planes and helicopters and rocket launchers on the ground next to that point, the Air Force has aircraft and have had them now for like 40 or 50 years that will find where you're launching your little drones from quickly. They will find where your shore-based missile batteries are very quickly. They will find where you're storing your little ships very quickly. And then all you have to do is call whatever aircraft you want to use on this and make those areas go away. You can use B-2s, or if you really want to cause somebody to make a mess in their pants, you send in the Bone, a whole squadron of them. The Bone, yeah, it's the B-1. And it'll come in at 700 mile an hour, 100 feet off the deck, and it will lay down a whole bunch of whoop butt right over the area that you want destroyed, and it'll destroy it. And then you send another one in right behind him, and he will lay down a whole bunch of area denial munitions so that nobody can go in there and fix it until they clear those munitions. And you're going to find out real quick, if you look into this, just how nasty those munitions are to clear. There really is only one way to do it. Stand off, blow them up, one at a time. And these things are small, about the size of a baseball, sometimes smaller. They're nasty. And some of them are on time delay fuses. So if you're running around shooting things, they'll blow up and shoot you, kill you. Other of these munitions have nasty little surprises, like when you're walking around, they detect you and they fire themselves at you wherever the motion's coming from. The whole point is to make it so that you can't easily go in there and clean it up. So why isn't this being done? We have these capabilities. We're holding back. I want to know why. Because you're dealing with the fate of the whole world here. Now, one of two things is happening, in my opinion, and this is the scary part. Well, one of three things: absolute, total incompetence on the part of the U.S. military and its civilian leadership. I am talking about colossal buffoonery. You have the Three Stooges, not the actors, the actual characters running the show. So Larry's the president and Curly and Moe is the Navy and the Air Force. I have to believe that's not one of the two options. And I said three, but no, there's only two. Incompetence, or somebody's playing for the other team, playing for what we would consider to be the bad guys. Why do I say that? I've got an article about Trump saying he's just going to pull out. Iran's over. We're going to pull out. We're done. Breitbart article. You know, that's another George Bush. Mission accomplished. Let's go home. Another Biden. Let's just pull out of Afghanistan, leave them with 166 or 180 billion dollars worth of equipment, arm our enemies, which is exactly what Biden did. And it wasn't Biden. It was whoever was actually running the government at the time. Something the Trump administration doesn't seem to have any interest in trying to get to the bottom of. So we have our, and how many billions of dollars did Obama give Iran? So we're arming the Muslims. Well, that's because what I've told you, Islam and the American left are in bed together. Literally. So what's going on in Iran? Well, if you cut and run right now, you have given something to the Iranians they did not have before the war. They now have undisputed control of the Straits of Hormuz. So all of the oil that supplies China, Japan, and the Eastern Pacific Rim, it's going to come through there, and it's going to pay a tariff to Iran. And you have Trump refusing to bomb the Iranian refineries and power plants, something else that should have already been done. He won't do it. People are saying, well, that's a war crime. No, it isn't. All you have to do is declare war, and then it's a legitimate military target. So if you don't do that, you're going to leave Iran controlling the ships that are moving what oil is available from OPEC, getting paid a fee for letting you through the straits, plus their refineries are now going to take over for the refineries they knocked out. All told, you have just created a very powerful financial Iran. You have increased their financial status footing exponentially above what it once was. And they no longer care whether or not you release their assets. It'll have been replaced. You also, in the process, strengthen Russia, which is an ally to Iran. How's that strengthen them? Their oil becomes more valuable to the Europeans. So the Europeans will eventually cut and run on the Ukraine so that they can get Russian oil because they're going to need it. So what you're doing is you are strengthening our enemies. You're also going to strengthen the Shia Islamic stronghold in the Islamic world, in the Muslim world. Because now the mullahs will be able to say, hey, the great Satan took their best shot. We're still here. Allah protected us. It was the will of Allah. The great Satan's God is nobody. They can't do anything. So now what you have is a politically, religiously, and financially strengthened Shia Islam and a greatly weakened United States. Because, oh yeah, Joe, we got all this oil that we pump. Our refineries can't refine it. Our refineries are designed to refine light crude, not the shale that we're pumping, not the fracking oil. We are in a position to take over the world, but we no longer have the political will, and we don't have the political will because the people aren't behind it. If Trump were to launch 2 good old-fashioned American moonshots, something that still can happen in the last 2 years of his campaign. 1, drill, baby, frack, baby, drill, frack like you ain't never, anywhere and everywhere in U.S. territory. Find that oil as much as you can. And the second, you build those refineries, baby. You build them all across the nation, everywhere, close to these oil fields. Don't make them truck and pipe and train load. That keep the oil refineries close to the fields. Build them. Have them built within 2 years. Well, Joe, you can't, but yes, you can. Yes, you can. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you do this, and go get Alberta, because there's a lot of oil right there, and they're voting to leave Canada. They could come into the United States if we want them to, and make real friendly with Venezuelan people, and get their government to, and I mean friendly, no coercion, no extortion, no manipulation, genuine friendship through trade, cultural outreach. Buy their oil. Break the deals they had with China. Help them. That oil we can refine. It's light, sweet, light crude. Send it here. The United States can become the next OPEC. You'll strengthen the U.S. dollar again. Oh, by the way, that's another thing that's going to happen. We're going to weaken the U.S. dollar to the point that it's going to make sense. If we continue with the way we're going in the Middle East right now, it's going to make sense for OPEC to abandon the U.S. dollar in pricing oil. If that happens, the U.S. dollar free falls. Everything you have in your, Charlie, your retirement portfolio will be useless overnight.
Yes, I'm well aware of that. Because if we did it right, Our national debt we could extinguish in a matter of just a few years if we did it right.
Well, no,
But
because as soon
we
as you
won't do
did this,
that.
Congress will spend more money.
Well,
But if we did it
if
right.
if we did it right, yeah.
But
We're
now
not going to.
you're
Yes.
pseudo kind of into the oil industry a little bit. You pay attention to it and the stock market. My wargaming, and you've got a military background. Am I entirely off base here, or do you see how this is definitely?
No, yeah.
I'm tracking on a very viable.
These are
potential history.
Yeah.
Yes, it all depends on why are we doing the things that I see us doing.
Yeah.
Why?
Yep.
Occam's razor in the physical material world is Trump's playing for the other team. Well, no, Joe, he's MAGA. And that's why he's never done anything to Fauci, right? The mass murderer that made Hitler look like a chump. Nothing's happened to Fauci. Or Hillary, or Obama.
Or Obama, or Biden, or Hunter, or we could.
Or the FBI.
We could do the rest of the show with that. Yeah.
Yes. Now, how do I explain all these things? You can come up with individual explanations for each and every one of them, or I can give you just one Occam's razor explanation. He's working for the other team. He did say on Oprah that if he ever ran for president, he'd run as a Republican because you're easier to fool. And in a way you are. All he's got to do is wave the American flag and say USA, 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 and he's got you.
Yep. And if
you're on the left,
look at his history, he's always been mucky with all the Democrats and everything else until some miraculous conversion somewhere along the line where he magically became a Republican.
Yeah, it was right about the time they started setting up the stage for Obama.
Yeah, that's about right.
Well, Joe, you're saying that this was all plotted out 20, 30 years ago. FDR mean anything to you?
If it happens in politics,
it was planned that way. So this is where I've been all weekend. This and searching for a happier place in time. And the net result is I'm moving more and more toward my scripture studies and less toward the politics and philosophy.
Yeah.
Because it's the only place I find anymore that has fruit. It yields rewards that actually mean something to me. I understand the world well enough already. I've learned enough about conspiracy theory and things like that already. I know what's happening. I don't need it anymore. Yeah. In general, broad strokes, I know where we're heading. Because I know history.
Happy Days was a good show. I wish I was living back then.
Yes. But, and also, I don't know, did we tell the audience this? I gave this show 1 year to see if I can't make it a little more viable, where it's not getting in the way of me making my livelihood. It's not doing well yet. We're not catching on. Just chill out. We're not going anywhere. But come about August, September, in that time frame, I might just start doing We Who Are Lost all the time. Because that's where my interest is heading right now. And it's probably my fault. I'm not producing a product people want to quote unquote buy. I get it. I understand that. But it's also because I'm not catering to the logarithms. I'm not advertising. I'm not pushing it. I'm not. And even if I was, we're not putting out a product that the average individual cares to consume.
You see how many advertisers we have on here? How many sponsors do we have?
We're not going to get one because we don't have an audience large enough. Charlotte, we have individuals who keep this show afloat because
we do. And thank you to all of you that do support this show, because we would not be here without you.
Just praise Yahweh that he put it on their heart, because if it weren't, we'd be gone. But the point of the matter here is, as long as I'm the primary thing we're putting out, we're going to go in the direction I'm wanting to go. So I've already noticed that the people who used to show up for my political commentary are gone. For the most part, they don't pop in all that often. I will from time to time keep it, and I might need to do this more often here in the next few months, more of my philosophy. But that bores a lot of people as well. There's a smaller group that likes that and the logic.
Except Jimmy.
Oh. Yep. But the part where I think I'm actually able to help people to do real good is with the scriptures. And the other thing I did over the weekend is we've already done a small ebook. And I hate to say this because this is one of the things I told myself I wouldn't do, but I've actually started to outline a real book that I want to get printed, a hardcover book that I hope that I might actually get published, about, well, tentative working title, One Philosopher's Journey Through Scripture. And his report to the flock, parentheses, layman, about what he discovered along the way. And it'll be things that I have never shared with you yet. Things that I've come to understand in our Bible. It'll be a philosophical take on Scripture. And oh boy, even Charlie doesn't know everything. Matter of fact, I've kept a whole bunch back from him of what I've suspected. But I've only shared pieces of this with y'all. And it is greatly changing the way I see and understand the scriptures, that is directly tied to what I was saying in the first half hour of the show today. If it doesn't change me, it's useless. It does me no profit. It makes no profit for me. If it doesn't change me, then I really don't believe in it. And any time I spend with it is a waste of time. If it doesn't change me, tilting at windmills, wasting time, flapping my arms around for attention from other people, notoriety and fame. But once it starts to change me, that's, where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. And that's what it's been doing again lately. I went through a period here recently where several years where I struggled to stay with my faith. And I feel that it's like any relationship. If you've been married long term, there are good seasons and bad seasons. You're closer and farther apart from each other. It's a natural thing. I'm starting to come back to the word in a way I've never done before. And I'm coming back with even more mature eyes than I've ever had before. And I'm starting to understand that there is a philosophy in this book that we call the Bible. A hard philosophy. And it's brilliant. Nobody ever studies it that way. Once you do, Torah starts to make sense in ways that it's not a series of do's and don'ts anymore. It literally becomes a walk, a guide, a lamp to light your path. I get it now. It's not just words. And I might be Johnny come lately to the, late to the party with all of this, but I suspect I'm not, because in all my reading, I've seen authors come close to what I'm seeing, but never once has anybody ever expressed what I'm seeing the way I see it. So either I am a heretic to whom you should not listen, or I'm being used by the Creator to do a piece of work at this point in time, such as a time as this, that he wants done for whoever it is that finds me. And everything that's happened up to this point, he brought me through to refine me so that I would finally bend the second knee and do what he's been asking me to do since I was in high school. And there's not a lot of room for the Road to Concord in that mission. There's a lot of room for We Who Are Lost. And it happens to be that the only ones that are really supporting this show are the ones who are here for We Who Are Lost. Charlie?
I'm on board. Toot, toot.
You got anything else to add, comment, say?
Well,
it's been a weird money.
Yeah. I'm surprised you made it through the whole show here, because I was like, oh, this is going to be a short show, baby. But
I was in Sergeant Bakanovic mode earlier today.
But not one of our best shows necessarily, but it was okay. It worked out in the end, and we'll just have to see how things go. Oh yeah.
Drinking from the mug of truth. Different type of truth. Different type of truth.
You didn't have coffee in there, did you?
But
you were in kind of one of those moods, so I was wondering.
Okay, we're going to go a little long, but I got to share a story. We went to Sam's this weekend. And I'm getting to where it's harder and harder for me to drive around people.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh.
So I was complaining. I hadn't gotten salty yet. But my wife says, well, you can't do anything about stupid. And I said, no, not with that attitude. And she looked at me and I said, my drill instructor was right. If you do it correctly, they either get smart or they get dead. Either way, stupid is cured.
Yeah, that's about right.
But seriously, I have not noticed anywhere else in society like I do when we drive at just how selfish we've all become. And what I've noticed is what it's doing to me. My wife is right. I can't control them. I can control me. I got to watch my tongue. Got to watch my temper. I got to learn, okay, if you're more important than me, just go ahead. Try not to take my front bumper off next time, but all right, fine. Cut in front of me. There's not enough room for your vehicle, but okay, I'll back off. Whatever. I cannot allow my love for Yahweh's other creations, people, to grow cold because those people have turned into animals. And I still have to have a love for the spark within them that is of Yahweh. And I cannot allow myself to see them and treat them as nothing but animals. And oh boy, I'm not doing well with that test.
Yeah. I hear you.
Because I see, well, it's not just that I'm angry at him, Charlie. I see no reason for any of this. There are rules. The traffic laws were never designed to raise money by tickets. They were designed to assign liability after an accident so we could figure out who was at fault and make them pay restitution. That's how they're supposed to work.
Supposed to, yeah.
And they're also supposed to tell us how we all drive together so that we can make orderly, transit the roads in an orderly fashion.
But they've messed all that up.
Yeah.
Because the last time, just recently, well, not recently, it's been a while now, but we had an accident, a little fender bender, and it was the other person was at fault, but yet the insurance companies in their subrogation or whatever stuff assigned like 10% fault to us because my wife didn't stop when she saw the backup lights to this person that backed into her. And it's like, that's not her responsibility. It's the responsibility of the person backing up to yield right of way.
Yes, it is. But the insurance companies have a policy called last chance of avoidance. Remember, I was an adjuster.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And they do that so that they don't have to pay everything.
Yeah.
I know what it's for.
It's a back in the smoke-filled room, handshake between insurance companies. We'll
But
help you out, you help us out, and
put insurance out of the way. How many of you were taught that you don't change lanes in the middle of an intersection? I see this every time I go to town now. Every time.
It happens all the time.
Every time. How many were raised that were taught that if you're towing a trailer, your butt belongs in the right-hand lane?
Oh, yeah.
And I see people with their trailers and their giant boats in the passing lane all the time, not even doing the speed limit, or worse, towing those trailers at 10, 15, 20 mile an hour over the speed limit.
Yeah.
You know what that shows
Don't
me?
Don't get me about merging. Yep. Oh my gosh.
A total disregard, not only courtesy for others, but for the safety of others.
Oh, yeah.
As well as everybody in your own vehicle. And now if you really want to see stupid, go on YouTube and look up some of the dash cam crash videos. I cannot believe, and I'm serious, I hear my drill instructor, the guy's name was Honstein. That was his last name. And he was Gomer Pyle, man. I mean, straight out of the TV show. And he did one day perfect, no problems whatsoever. And he got yelled at that day just because. But I do remember my drill instructor one time asking him if his parents had any children that lived.
Yeah.
And I see some of these things on these videos and I wonder, where are these people? And I know where part of it is. I see this. I travel. Oh, yeah. It's 25 minutes to get to town and back, each way, my house. And we're on the highway a lot. And I cannot tell you how many times I see people going down the road with their phone in their face. And ladies, I keep a count. 2/3 of the people I see doing that, minimum, probably more, are female. We count. My wife and I count. Usually when it's a guy on his phone, he's in a work truck. I know what he's doing. It's still wrong. Don't get me, don't misunderstand me. It's still wrong, but I know why he's on the phone. He's responding to work, most cases. Very seldom is it a guy on the phone going down the road. And when it is, lo and behold, he's got earrings and a man bun. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying. Why is that? And I'm not picking on women. I'm picking on the spirit behind what it is. Why? I don't get it. I mean, I do, but I don't. We're supposed to be rational beings. If you're on the cell phone going down the road and you cause an accident that scoops me up, you better pray the cops get there fast. I'm old, I'm fat, and I'm out of shape, but I can tattoo your head in 30 seconds before they get there. And I will. Because in my mind, you knowingly and willingly endangered my life and took a shot at it and tried to kill me because of your depraved indifference. You shot, missed. My turn. And that's just the old Marine in me. I know it's not a good witness for my faith. I understand that. But man, if you're going to try and kill me because you don't give a rat's rip, it's my turn. I bet you I'm going to be better at it than you were. And that's where I've got to work on myself. I can't have that attitude in me. It's not right. It'll make me into what it is I don't want to be. I've got to guard that. It's not easy. I know that. I know it's not easy for all of y'all out there too, but I'm telling you, don't become that which you despise. It's not a justification. Yes, Mr. Quest, wormwood. Yes. Good word. All right, let us get out of here. It's been a little long. Sorry for my soapbox. Sorry, not sorry about the soapbox. But guard yourselves. Don't become that which we despise. Don't justify that which you claim to oppose. Watch out for being a hypocrite. And a hypocrite in the classical Greek It doesn't mean you say one thing, do another. It's not like speaking out of both sides of your mouth. That's confusion of a sense. The classical Greek is you play physically for the appearance of people, you play a position that you never adhered to begin with. A true hypocrite, it's a theatrical term in the Greek. So it might mean that you're the worst person in the world, but you're playing somebody who's chaste as the driven snow. You're pretending to be that person where you don't believe any of it. There are several conservative talk show hosts that are that way. They pretended to be conservative. They never were. From what I understand from industry insiders, Michael Savage is one of those people, or was. I don't know. I don't know firsthand, but I know people who know him, who are in the industry, who have told me that he was one. That's a hypocrite. The Pharisees are hypocrites. They were not godly. They were not spiritual. They were earthly, worldly, designing, greedy men. Guard yourself against this. If you espouse it, claim to believe it, then either walk the walk or change. You can change. We all can. Is it easy? Heck no. But you can do it. I was already there beforehand, but boot camp is proof of that. I can take a slimy civilian and turn him into a squared away Marine. It takes a crucible, which is why Marine Corps boot camp used to be so freaking tough. We want the result without the pain. We want the gain without the pain. It's not the way the world works. I thank you for being here. I really do. I'm surprised that we have anybody who still watches us. It's okay. I'm not doing it for that anymore. I gave that up a long time ago. I just wish that we were all in the same room where I could get your feedback more often. I want the pieces of the puzzle that you have. I want to understand things through your eyes to help me better understand the world in general. We were all made to see things slightly different for a reason. And we're made to live in community, close community, small townships where we know each other, so that we can learn to see the world through each other's eyes. Because it's not that there's a single truth apart from all of us. And that's the thing I'm coming to understand, is that in order to see the reality the Creator actually made, you must learn to see it through the eyes of others. Because each of us only has one piece of the elephant. So you might have the tail, I might have the legs, somebody has the trunk, somebody has an ear, somebody's feeling the belly. We can't see the true reality unless and until we learn how to, one, communicate with each other, and two, share our perspectives with each other in a way that everybody else listens to and tries to understand. Now, it's still possible for some of us to have a bad opinion or position on things that don't conform with the way the world actually works. But for those who are trying to conform to the way the world works, even then, multiplicity of opinion and perspective, when we add them together with our own, it sharpens the focus of this world. It should make us wiser. And that wisdom should lead us to action that changes us so that we come more in line with the way the world is and is supposed to work. And I'm just trying to help people see and understand this and encourage them to do the work themselves, for themselves in their own lives. That's it. And in the process, I'm learning that's the gospel. That's the gospel. Comment on the board from Mr. Quest. Sounds like we all need a plan a fishing trip. Hell, that might actually work. Can I bring grenades? Because I don't do too well with that line casting thing. But I'm pretty good with about, dynamite and grenades fishing. That, or I'll bring the adult beverage and I'll sit there and egg you on and cheer for you whenever you catch something. All right, man. Y'all take care. Tomorrow, we're back in Genesis. We'll see you then or Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to be starting with Islam, and Friday we'll be back in Alan's book, The Scepter and the Birthright. So until we meet again, y'all stay safe, take care. We love you. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.